Now it's time to finalize our process and check the textures and ready for the export. So for the emissive part, I prefer to have some emissive line in here in the border cut. So let's go and add a fill layer here. And now load the border cut mask. Okay, let's change the blending mode to linear and duplicate it and load the center cut mask. And now we have the emissive line around this spot too. Okay. So if we look closer to the model, we can see this vertex push in and it's go out from here. So we need to take care of it. And let's go to the border cut. And we need to decrease the amount in the height. So I think the number 0.3 is a good number for this one. Okay, now we have the gap here. So let's go for the 0.5. That's it. Maybe 0.4 is better. No, I think we should avoid the gap here. So this is a good number for this section. Okay. And we need to clean up this mask to avoid this kind of artifact. Okay, so let's go. This is on the first layer. And yeah, it's related to the metal edge. So let's add a paint layer, change the blending mode to subtract. Okay. And now remove the unwanted mask. Okay, now we just create whatever we want and we clean up all the mistakes and problems. And now it's time to export the textures for rendering in Marmoset toolbar. For this purpose, I'm going to File, Export Textures. And now we need to select our output template. I'm going to use Unreal Engine 4 plus height, which is a custom template that I create for myself to export the textures in Unreal Engine format, but I need high texture also, so we can export them together. And file type on PNG, it's okay. Let's go for the 16 bits, and the size should be on 4K. And we are ready to go, so let's export this. Okay, now in the Marmoset toolbag, we are going to load the model. Okay, this is the model. And let's go and move the model. Okay. And we are going to make a render at this angle. That's it. So let's turn off the callback faces. And we are going to turn on subdivision after setting up the first light and the material itself and setting camera. So let's create the camera. I'm going to render setting, and now we can change the dimension for render resolution, bring up the denoise strength, and maybe for the sample 600 is enough. Okay, and let's add camera here to the render camera list. And now we can go to the camera and turn on the save frame. Okay, so this is our save frame, and this is our first shot. So let's go and set up the post effect setting on the camera. I'm going to change the tune mapping to aces, change the curve to high contrast, and sharpen should be set on 1, clarity on 1. I need negative 0.2 in a highlight and positive 0.2 in a midtone and shadow at the same time. And let's bring up the softness in vignette and bring up strength. Okay, so This is the first setting that I want to apply in a post effect. And let's change the focus to ray trace and pick the focus point with the middle mouse button. Okay, so let's create the material for this sci-fi blade. So I'm going to the folder that I export the textures and put it in my second monitor, and let's load the base color for the first channel, and after that let's load the normal. I'm going to invert the green channel, and let's apply the material, the whole model. Okay, and I need to change the channel to G for the roughness, B for the metallic. I need to turn on occlusion, and it should be on red channel. And the emission, we need emissive. And for the transparency, we need cutout, which the data provided by the base color. Okay, so let's load the ORM texture, and I'm going to copy this to occlusion, metallic, and roughness. And we have the emissive map here. That's it. Oh, it's too strong here. We need to decrease the opacity for this area. And that's it. We just need to turn on height, load the map here. Okay, this value should be the same value that we use in the shader setting here. So let's go back to the marmoset. Okay, and let's change the backdrop mode to solid color and use a dark gray color. Okay, and let's change the HDRI. So I think it's good for this project. And let's bring up the intensity to something like 3. Yeah. And I need to omni light here inside the hole to fill up the space. So let's add a light. I'm going to drag out and change the name to inside light. Okay, so let's reset the transform and check visible shape and change the shape to rectangle. And now we can see the light here. Let's bring up the size. If you cannot see the light shape, you need to go to the setting and check show guide. Okay, so let's change the shape of the light, and I'm going to add a rotation for it. For example, yeah, this one is perfect, and we need to put it here and play with the shape to fill up the hole. That's it. Let's bring up the brightness, and we need to change the type to omni. Now we can see the light here without affecting anywhere else. So you can change the color to something like red, for example, and in this way we can use the same color in an emissive channel. Okay, so let's find a good color for it. Yeah, I think this one is good. Maybe a little yellowish. Okay, so let's go to the material in the emissive map and paste color. I just copy this color and paste it here. And let's bring up the intensity in emission. For example, 10 or maybe 15. So when we go to the camera and in the post effect, change the bloom brightness and bring it up, you can see we have some blooming effect. So we just need to decrease the amount of the opacity of this mask in the painter and re-export the emissive mask, just emissive mask. And after that, we can turn on the subdivision on the model and place our light and finalize our process. Okay, now in Substance Painter, I'm going to the emissive layer, and for the gradient, okay, let's load the mask. We need to wait, and that's it. And we have this one, and this one. I'm okay with that. I just need to change the opacity for this and this. So let's export textures, but this time I just need to export the emissive. So I can select what texture that I need to export. So export, and in this way we have a more efficient workflow. And now you can see we have the same result. So maybe we need to bring down the opacity a little more, for example 10 and 10. Okay, now let's export again, just emissive mask. And now in Marmoset, we can see the effect. Okay, maybe the intensity is too much. Okay, and we can do something else in Substance Painter. Let's go to the balance. Okay, and play with the balance value to control the mask. Yeah, I think in this way we can make effective result. Yeah, let's export. Okay, let's go to the, yeah, it's better right now. So let's go and turn on the subdivision for this model. Okay, at least we need 2 million vertices for creating good effect on the displacement. So let's go for the 3. I think, yeah, this is a good result that we have. But why we have, oh, it's not an artifact, it's just related to the shadow. Okay, so let's change the camera view, and yeah. Okay, we can bring up this section. Let's go back to the blade section in the first layer, or we just add this effect here. Yeah, and can remove the opacity to something like 30, like this. And I think this is better for this section because it's too much in the Marmoset. So let's export, but this time I just need height, and that's it. Wait for exporting. Okay, now I think it's okay. Whenever you export the displacement or the high texture and it didn't update in Marmoset, you just need to turn off this check and turn on it again. It's going to load and apply it on the model. So let's go for the lighting section. Okay, so for the first light, I need to add a rim light here. So let's change the intensity brightness to 7, and the color should be on white. And we can reset the transform like this. And now I can select the rotation, and we can rotate the light, yeah, or something like this. And we can bring up diameter to avoid sharp and pixelate shadow. So I think this is the good amount of the diameter, and this is a good place for the light itself. Let's duplicate this, and I'm going to change the shape to rectangle and bring up the size to 1000, 1000. And let's turn off the light number 1, And now we can, okay, let's bring down the light itself. Now we can change the light to position that I want. Okay. I think this angle is a good angle for this light. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the camera, and I need to increase the exposure to something like 1.2. Okay, and yeah, we have this light here and inside light. So okay, and this is the sky, and we need to adjust the sky too. So let's bring down the intensity of brightness in the sky, and this is the 2, yeah, inside light, sky number 1, the light number 1, and the light number 2. So I think everything is okay for the first shot. Let's duplicate the camera, and I'm going to change the camera to camera number 2, and let's go here, and yeah, this is our final shot for this render, and boom, it's done. We just create a good concept with Substance Painter without any extra step in the modeling. And after this phase, you can work on this model, and you can apply the displacement in every software that you are going to use. For example, you can apply the displacement in ZBrush, 3ds Max, Blender, or even in Unreal. And you can even export this model in OBJ or FBX format with apply subdivision. It means your exported model is so more heavier, that input model, and you can apply the displacement, which we have here, and then exactly the same result that we have in the viewer, and you can triangulate that for avoiding any issue. Okay, so after that you can do the modeling task on this model and convert it to usable model in real-time engine or offline render engines. Thanks for watching. Let's go for the next project.